I'm Kelsey Blahnik. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, author, and someone who's been personally and professionally shaped by what it means to live in the tension of conflict and complexity. My book, The And Way, Assertive Peacemaking in a Divided World, was born out of a question I kept asking myself and in the therapy room. What do we do when the world is pulling us toward extremes, but we still want to live with integrity, stay connected, and stay true to ourselves? A lot of books talk about how to speak across difference, but the And Way starts somewhere deeper, with the truth that most of us aren't emotionally regulated, resourced, self-aware enough to even begin those conversations in a meaningful way. We're overwhelmed, we've absorbed trauma of others in our communities, coworkers, even strangers online. We're often walking on eggshells, and we're told to just set boundaries or speak our truth without ever being shown how to do that without exploding or sometimes abandoning relationships with loved ones. The And Way is a therapeutic roadmap for that in-between space. It blends storytelling of my life, my practice, and evidence-based practices like parts work, dialectics, and trauma-informed care. Not just for understanding conflict with others, but for healing the inner conflict that often keeps us stuck. This book is for anyone who's ever felt torn between roles, overfunction to avoid disappointing others, silence themselves for the sake of peace, or struggle to hold both compassion and conviction at the same time. It's not about finding middle ground. This is not about neutrality. It's about building the emotional muscles to hold multiple truths, to say things like, I'm angry and I care. I disagree and I'm still here in this relationship. I'm clear about my values and I'm curious about yours. The And Way is the result of years of sitting with clients and with myself in the mess of that tension. It's the culmination of clinical wisdom and personal transformation. And most of all, it's a call to do the inner work that so many of us were encouraged to skip. Because peacemaking really doesn't begin with perfect communication. It begins with emotional resilience. It begins with the capacity to stay grounded when everything in your nervous system tells you to run. It begins when we start seeing difference as danger and start cultivating the kind of inner flexibility that makes peace possible. At South by Southwest, I'll be reading a passage that speaks to this exact tension, the space between silence and shouting, between self-protection and connection. If you've been looking for a path through the noise and polarization, you're in the right place. Hope to see you there.